feet crunching stones where the cool winds blow. Each step an echo, a quiet drum. The mountain calls, and here I come.
The air is thin, the trees are few, the sky is warm, the world feels new.
To the summit of stars where the night unfolds, with a choir of whispers both timid and bold. The insects hum, the crickets sing, a galaxy blooms in the dark's cool wind.
The fireflies wink like lanterns small, a fleeting guide through the twilight's sprawl.
The earth exhales a cedar sigh. I wait for stars to claim the sky.
A fox's cry,
A shadows glide.
the mountain breeze. I'm not outside.
To the summit of stars where the night unfolds, like a choir of whispers both timid and bold. The insects hum, the crickets sing, a galaxy blooms in the dark's cool wind.
The sky is a painter, a brush in its hand, sweeping green ribbons across the land. Red whispers follow a secret glow, a waltz of light in the dark below. Aurora's waltz, they twirl and spin, a cosmic dance where dreams begin. Green and red, they light the floor. I could watch forever, I want no more. it slips through my hand like sand in an hourglass, a fleeting strand. The night hums softly, the world stands still. The air is electric, the cold gives a thrill. Auroras waltz, they twirl and spin, a cosmic dance where dreams begin. Green and red, they light the floor. I could watch forever, I want no Do they hear the music? Do they know the tune? Do they race the wind? Do they chase the moon? I wonder their secrets. I wonder their song. I wonder if they've been here all along.
Hey guys, welcome. I am here and I'm gonna do my best. This is not the real sky. This is the sky from this simulation software that I want to show you. And Sally Forth was mentioning life as a simulation. This tool right here has a name. It's called Space Engine. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it allows you to see the night sky and the stars in a full 3D universe. All these stars are 3D. We can zoom out to them. We'll do a few things. We're waiting for it to get dark in Arizona right now. As you can see, we come into the observatory screen. You can see that it's not dark out yet. So we're waiting. We're giving it a little while. But I have plenty to show you over here in this screen. So I pre-selected the planet Mars for us right now, and we can look around the sky here. Look at that beautiful Milky Way center. Okay, now it's smooth as silk in the program. It's not stuttering like this. Okay, it's stuttering like this because of the throughput for the broadcast software. Not able to figure that out yet. I'm working on that. But you know, as long as we go like this, this works great. Now there's Mars. Now as we look at it, Mars is overexposed. Okay, so we have to stop down the camera a little bit so that we can actually see Mars without it being brightly overexposed. Now that explains, by the way, why the stars weren't in the lunar photographs on the moon. Okay, we can actually simulate that exact thing. So as we get here, if we look away like this, right, we pull it out of the view, and now our exposure is more and we can see the stars. But as we come in, watch. All right, Mars starts to come in. All right, and you'll see that the stars are now going to start to go away. Okay, and it's pretty dramatic. This is how it happens in real life with a camera. In order to expose Mars, well, it's not a bright blob like you see now in that lower right corner. We have to stop down the camera. We have to close that opening of the camera so we can actually look at it like this. So this tool is called Space Engine. It's got a lot of interesting features. Right now we have Mars selected. If we back out, you'll see that there's a little you'll around it like that. And then you'll notice there's two dots right here. These two dots, okay, they're looking at right there. These are Mars moons, Phobos and Deimos. Now it's going to be hard to select. I know I can select one of them. One of them's too small to select. You know, well, I managed to get it. But how do we do that in general when they're actually, too hard to select? the way you do it is there's function keys that you can use with this product. And so by hitting F2, you see the entire solar system, all right? And if we look at the, if we look at Mars, okay, we'll see that Mars, okay, if we close in on Mars, okay, we see that Mars has 2 moons, Phobos and Deimos. Now, another way to do this is if we can actually hit F3 and do a search and type in Phobos, all right? And as you can see, we see Mars, dwarf moon, so we can select that and just hit enter, and now it'll be selected. So there's a couple ways you can do it, but it's really cool when we're here and you select Mars. You say, okay, I want to double click on Mars, or you click on that. That's the go-to, all right? And now if you double click on this, you see Mars's moons. So we have Deimos, right? Let's check out Deimos. And my head's cut off. Let me just get my head back here. Now the stuttering again is because the frame rate. That only happens on this program. It doesn't happen with any other thing that I do. So I haven't figured out the optimum configuration for broadcasting this yet. But you got to see this. This is cool. All right, so there's Deimos. So now you click on it. It's highlighted in blue. You can see the arrow pointing to it, right? And we can actually move. And as we leave the screen, you'll see the arrow says which direction to go to see it. And then we just go in that direction, and there we see the X. We can now, instead of trying to zoom in manually, which we can do, we can just say, we can hit the letter G, which is go to. And now we're going to go to Deimos, okay? And this is cool. All right. Now, again, it's very fluid on your computer, but on the broadcast, it's a little choppy. I'm very disappointed in that, but this is worth showing you. This program's worth showing you. So there's Deimos. Now, yes, these are real images. These are real data from probes and systems. Now, you can see this pinched out area right here, that pinched out area. That's an area where the data wasn't complete, and so that's kind of where they stitched it all together. So there are some artifacts of the data, but I am going to tell you, in order to run this in the broadcast, I actually had to go down to literally next to the lowest level of detail. You go to the highest level of detail, you don't see any of that. You don't see any of those artifacts. It looks really, really good. And on your computer, you'll do that by yourself when you're running it. Because right now, this is totally smooth on my machine, but it stutters around here on the screen. Okay? So now we can click on Phobos, for instance, and hit G to tell it to go to again. And now it's going to turn away. And just like a spacecraft, it's going to go right to Phobos. All right? And here we go. Again, nice and pretty. And here comes diminutive little Phobos. Now, Phobos is literally just 22 kilometers in diameter. It's a tiny little thing, you know? And so that little guy, now, most likely these are captured asteroids, right? And these captured asteroids, and there's that classic crater. Again, this is real data. We're seeing not fake, right? And same thing with Mars. Mars has all the real data in it. Now, there's something cool about this. As we get in there, of course, Mars will be overexposed. Then we stop down our exposure. Now, here you can see that we're actually moving, okay? And as we move, all right, we're told it to go to Mars. Phobos actually went in a lot closer. We kind of passed it. So it backed out from us, all right? Now we can actually come back in and it goes back, right? So now I like using what's called airplane mode. There's 3 modes. This one is mode number 1. Okay, mode number 2 is spacecraft mode, where wherever you hit a key to move, it'll keep going. Aircraft mode is cool because wherever you're pointing, that's where the ship will eventually go to, right? Which is pretty cool. And so now, for instance, if we want to go, I'm moving slowly now toward Mars. You'll see that Phobos is coming by us right now. It's gonna make its way, all right? You like that? And you can use the mouse wheel to slow down your speed, or the arrow keys W, S, D, and A. And so now we're gonna do a flyby of Phobos, all right? And you could spin it around with the Q and the E keys, so you can actually add some, psychotic, make me throw up motions. See that right by Phobos, and now we're passing it, and going down to the Martian surface. You can record all this. You can make movies with this if you wanted to. And it's very, very cool. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to just really quickly just come down here. And if you get stuck, you don't know how to slow down, won't slow down, all you do is hit the key 1, the 1 key, which is this one. It stops everything. It's called free mode. You can see it right up there. Okay, free mode. And so that gets you set up to stop, and then you can recover and go back to do stuff. So it's like a game where you actually have to control your 3D motion. You have to anticipate how long it's going to take you to slow down, and eventually you can get pretty good at it. All right, and like for instance, I'm going to drop us into this Valles Marineris Canyon here. I'm going to stop the rotation, right, and then we'll come down lower into the canyon. And as we come into the canyon, I'm going to start slowing down. S key to slow us down. I know it's not looking that good there, but you know we won't be in here all night. Trust me. All right. So now, as we move down in here, we're gonna start looking up and start to. There we go. All right. So now, you'll notice the Martian atmosphere. It's a paid version, but it's really, really cool. All right. Dave Domkowski's with us. Hey, Dave. And I think you mean you're in New Britain, right? Not Bew Britain. Yeah. Sam asks, the buffering isn't actually, I don't think it's on the website. It's actually the program, which is slowing down everything in the broadcast section. For instance, if I, let me show you that to prove that. If I come over to our main screen now, see, I'm moving freely now. Everything is free. You should see that I'm moving freely. You should not see any buffering here. La, 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 la. Okay. Let me know that that's true, by the way. So when we get into the actual observatory screen and we get out of that program, we're not taxing the graphics system on the machine, which is very, very high end, but it's still, you know, for broadcast and everything else I'm doing with with this all running at the same time, it's doing some choppiness. So I want to make sure that you don't see me as choppy. I should be nice and smooth. I mean, if I see it like this, it's nice and smooth. I think it is, you know. All right, so Mark, your camera is held up. Maybe take yourself out of the stream. Interesting. I don't understand. I tell you, this has been crazy. What I should do actually is let me do one thing. I'm gonna kill this other space engine program. Right? Now let's see if I am choppy. So right now, you would like to I'd like to make sure that we're not choppy in any way. I should be back to normal. There should be no chop or anything right now. All right, so let me know that that's true. Of course, I could, I guess, just bring up the stream and see. Still stop and go, he says. Interesting, huh? Well, I do find that interesting, considering that I have stopped everything that causes the causes everything here. All right, well, so let's see if it settles out. I've been trying to get that program to work. All right, now CND says, Bob says, we're 5x5. Okay, good, nice. Okay, so I did quit that, but I'll tell you something else too. If you guys are interested in, doing these kinds of things, I do have forays into other programs that I think are pretty cool that you might like to use. Some of them are interesting. That one was a very heavy-duty simulation, and you can go out to the Pleiades and fly around the Pleiades in 3D and see how they look in 3D, and so forth. It's really quite nice. You can go through the clouds of dust that they're in, and it's all accurate. It's all the accurate data. And now it's not, the entire universe isn't perfect, but it's enough so that you can actually see a lot of what's going on, and that's cool, you know. So that said, we're going to try and see, Yeah, Donald, I thought it would move smoother once I shut it off. I do want to say hi to everybody. I want to say hi, first of all, to Sally, who got here first. Good to see you. Splurge is here. Karen Belmont. Brian Lathrop, how you doing? Kathy Messick, Cornucopia, Donald Kunzer, Sam S. Lots of STLS. Who's that guy? And then Thorngood Studios, that's Sharon in Texas. Sharon's been helping us a lot lately. She's wonderful with social media and other things. And we'll do an introduction of her probably a little bit further along. Star Panda's with us there. Karen Belmont, I said hi, I think. And then Dave in Bangor. How you doing, Dave? What's going on? Bangor chilly tonight? Maine is always chilly, it seems to me, even in the summer. As soon as the sun goes down, So it's nice to see you guys. Alicia's with us. Hi, Alicia Vieras. What's happening? The Goblin's here. And we have Weather is Crazy. Yeah, how you doing, man? Good to see you. And we do have a few others. You have Dave Domkowski, I mentioned. Dave's been here. He's been to the house. He's been to the studio here. He's been to the observatory when we had an observatory on the front lawn. We had a telescope smaller than this, and it was in the observatory out there. And it's actually now been moved to Arizona. And let me just pull this down a little bit. There we go. Make it a little better. Yeah. So we're actually doing a really cool thing, and I'm going out, like I said, May 26th, which is in another week or so, week and a few days. And I'm going to be speaking at the Contact in the Desert. I'm doing like 3 lectures and a sky watch. And I'm going to be also, when we come back from that, I'm going down here. Again, I was just there a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago. And we're going to install the system we had out in the Sonoran Desert in one of the buildings here. And I'm working on getting that building ready through the people that are on the mountain there. And it works now, and we could install, but I want to make sure that everything is perfectly functional. I have all the equipment, I have all the circuitry built. I even have the all-sky camera ready to go out there. I just want to make sure that everything is ready from the mechanical end that they provide. And so it looks like it might be. I was told I could move in any time, and that's all good. Here is the sky out there right now. We're using their all-sky. Right? This is their all-sky view right here, right now. Okay. Okay, we do have Venus in the western sky. Okay, and we have Jupiter. Right? And there's no moon. Yay, 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 yay. I don't want to see the moon tonight. All right. This is our eastern horizon mesa that's right next to the observatory. It's a nice little location. It's a very dark sky. Things are gorgeous here. And I just get all giddy like a little kid when the night it comes. Woo, I want to sing. Yeah, no, that sounded bad. I'm sorry. But I do want to say that we are going to be all moved in, I think, by the end of May and operational. Now, this system is a narrow field system, meaning we have a nice magnified view of things. This other one is a wide field system. So when we look at a nebula, we'll see all of it, and it's going to be beautiful and just expansive. This guy will focus on just a piece of it. Now, right now, let's see if there's any stars visible. There's going to be stars visible. Yeah, there they are. Okay, and we're just going to, I'm going to try just a rough focus here just to see which direction I should be going in. It looks like I should be going this way. And this is not by any means going to be the final focus. I'm just going to be doing this to try and get close. All right, and this is getting us close. Okay. So I also have our our night sky planetarium that's linked to the telescope in here. Right now we're kind of near Polaris, right? This is our view of the night sky, right? And we should back out so you can see where we are here. Right, we're looking kind of there, but the telescope is here. So if we say we're going to look at the telescope is, okay, then this is where we're looking at. Our field of view is going to be roughly a couple of these stars, close, you know. And as it gets darker, we're going to see more in here, okay. And the planetarium doesn't show all the stars that are there. And let's see. Okay, Michael Hedrick says, Mark, the Y files. Oh, the Y files with you was awesome. It was cool seeing you talk about many stories that took me years to hear, but all at one time on the Y files. So cool. Oh, thanks, man. Well, thank you, Michael. Yeah, now AJ Gentile is a great guy, and he's so easy to talk to. So it was actually a really good time. From what I hear, I'm going to be asked to be back on. Apparently, I don't know when. You know, probably not right away, of course. Now, tonight you're going to have to put up with me drinking some more water. Oh, look at that. A satellite going through by the pole star. Based on the length of that trail, that was a Starlink. It's a 1 second shot, and the Starlink is about that big on the screen that you just saw. Each frame, they're at that altitude and that brightness. Pretty cool. So, that said, we do have some things. Let's go see what we can see now. And let's go back here. Oh, by the way, for the record, you know all the government drops on the UFO files that have come out? I've looked at almost all the videos, and I saw some that are interesting, some that are actually really cool. But to be honest, I've also seen some that are ordinary objects captured in an extraordinary way. Okay, you know that thing that looks like a chandelier that has the 8-pointed star, whatever they call it? That's actually part of a video. And when you watch the whole video, you'll see a smoke trail behind it. And you'll also see, every now and then, you'll see a parachute come into the view and then it goes out. So that is a flare being dropped by parachute. Unfortunately, not all of this is UFO stuff, unfortunately. But that's, hey, look, that's the way it works. You know, I do what I can with what they give me, you know. So it's very cool, you know. Bob says, Mark's on TV in Canada almost every night, so cool. I don't know what is with the Canadians, you know. I did do a image processing job, you know, for the Canadian Bureau of Prisons. There was it was actually a crime committed in a prison, and they sent me the video, and it was pretty gory. But I had to determine who did what, when, and where, and that was pretty interesting because I had to be very, very careful about what I was saying because you know, someone's life's in the balance, somebody's, you know, prison term is in the balance. So I triple checked, quadruple checked, even checked 5 times. When I was certain, I checked again. And I wrote up a whole report, and I guess somebody got extra prison time for it, and somebody was actually let off the hook who was initially accused. So, and that's all within the prison. You know, I don't ever want to be in prison. I don't have any reason to be, you know. Look at all the bugs. See all the bugs? We got a lot of insects out there now. Now, I have the infrared light on this camera here, and so it attracts bugs. The one on this camera up above is turned off because typically we have other astronomers on the plateau that are running their telescopes, and I don't want to interfere with what they're seeing. So, for instance, if we turn over to the right now in that upper camera, let's look and see if he's out yet. Okay, yeah, not yet. Okay, his telescope would be right about here, you know. And he'd be pointing up in the sky, but he's not there yet. So it's not bright at all. What you're seeing here is light that is contained within my building. All right. And so hard as that is to watch, because of the bright light there, I could turn them both off, but then it'd be, kind of crazy dark. I mean, but I need to see what the telescope's doing. But just for the moment, I can show you what that looks like, because why not? So it's actually kind of calming to see a telescope just staring up into the sky. So let me turn that off right now. So I'm going to turn off the night vision lights on the telescope right above me. Ready? There they go. There we are. Look at that. Okay. So, I mean, it is a low light camera too. So as it gets darker, this is going to get dark in here. But you can see how this looks against the bright sky in the background. Actually, when I was a kid, seeing my telescope looking up in the sky like that, oh, that was just awesome, Crazy. Cornucopia says, what about the video of the thing whipping around the wind turbines? Yeah, that's one of the ones I thought was interesting, Courtney. I thought that was pretty interesting, I don't know yet. I don't have a final disposition on that. But then again, what I say isn't always, the final word. Of course, I don't know everything. I know that, and I'm just happy that people, accept that I know some things, and I'm happy to be of service. So we'll leave this on, and then we'll turn on the light in here as it gets much darker, because I do need to see what the telescope's doing. All right. So let's, it's getting dark enough now we can go check out some things. So let's go look at what our sky is presenting us with. Okay. By the way, down here on the horizon here, on the this is the northwest horizon. It's about to set is the double cluster, right? We've looked at the double cluster a bunch, right? And it's about to set. Let me do better quality here to actually increase the quality of the letters and everything. I do have to also make an announcement, which I don't want to make, but I have to. Our Etsy store, we're going to have to temporarily shut it down, because I don't know if we've been hacked or what's happened, but all of our SKUs, the identifying numbers for the products are messed up between Etsy and our provider of all the stuff. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to redo all of the products. And we had 45 of them out there. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to do them all over. Hopefully I don't. But I tried to work on one of them today, and it was like no go. So I'm not too happy with that. I'm really not happy with that. But we had 2 orders where people didn't get everything they asked for. And it's like, why? And it said, it doesn't exist. What do you mean it doesn't exist? They ordered it. It's in our Etsy store. But in our distributor store, it's not there. So something got whacked between Etsy and the distributor. So we're working on that. All right. But if you want to contribute, well, you can always donate to us in other ways as well. And if you want some merch, then you can contact me privately, and I'll be happy to work that out with you. I'm also, now that we're over 11,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'm going to put up a store within YouTube, so you can actually buy stuff there. And that may be a better outlet. So under the stream, you'll see stuff you can grab. I don't know how successful that'll be, but if you want one of the t-shirts with, I need my space or whatever, that'll be there. Mugs and mouse pads and books, journals and stuff that are cool. You can get those too. We're going to put those in, let's see now. So, let me just do one thing. Yeah, I'm going to go in and change the lighting on me, because I look purple and that doesn't look good. So, ready, set, pew. Oh, there we go. Now that's better. I got my red lights on, which I like. Okay. It's getting darker. Good. I want to thank you guys for coming out tonight and checking us out. I hope that you have a good night with me tonight. And I'm going to work out that problem with the space engine. But make sure if you want to poke around the universe in a way that you just won't forget, space engine. It's really cool. I think it costs all of $25 on Steam. You can just look it up in Google and you'll get a link to it anyway. I don't think you have to buy it on Steam. I think you can buy it from them directly. I know I did in the beginning, but it's on Steam now too. So check it out. And, I just didn't get a chance to show you all that it can do, unfortunately. I'd rather shut down the stuttering and show you something real time where I can move and you see it happen, So that's good. All right, let me just get back into the camera here. All right. There we go. So, what do you want to look at? Loaded question. Yeah. If you actually do have things you want to look at, please put them in the chat. Okay. I have the chat on my left side here. So you know what I got? I got a big curved screen right here in front of me. So when I'm looking here, I'm seeing what you're seeing here. Okay. I'm seeing all that. Okay. So I have it duplicated. The broadcast screen is on my right. I pay somewhat attention to that, but not as much. I want to look at the telescope feed because what happens in the telescope feed is off by a split second to what's happening over here. And I want, if something goes wrong, I want to have the exact maximum time to respond. So it's not a big deal. It works okay. I actually have had no issues with this, and I can say that happily with this. All right. You know what? That won't work, will it? I don't know. Let's try it. I'm not sure this is gonna work, but let's see if we can do it. I'm gonna go to something that's near the northwestern horizon, west northwest. I'm not sure. Oh, it's getting there. It's getting there. And it's getting there. Oh, good. I got some stars. That means I can do a course correction. I like that. Yeah, it's higher in the sky here than it was. What is it? Well, let's see if I can find it for you. I may have to take an exposure that's higher. I do. Okay, I'm going to take another exposure. I'm going to go 5 seconds. It's not here in this view, but you'll see it hopefully you'll see it in just a minute. All right, good. Now, and you can see we're a little out of focus too, but I can get my bearings now. There it is. All right, and now we're going to go back to the 1 second one, and we're going to have a bright object in the middle of our view. Know what that is? Nope, it's not Jupiter. It's Venus. So we're going to take a look at Venus. Now, we also have to focus a little better. So let's drop this down here. All right, and let's take our gain down to zip to nothing, and let's reduce our. I'm going to reduce our exposure to 1/4 second. All right, going to keep going more. We're going to go lower. All right, and lower. It's not in focus yet, so I'm going to put it in focus. Yeah. All right, there we go. So now it's going to bounce around because it's pretty, far off in the distance here. But look you can see the shape of the planet right here. It's a little past half full, isn't it? And that's exactly what it is. Now I'm gonna see if I can do a focus run here. Let's see if I can focus this, get it better. Well, that looks better. And then after I get it close, I'm gonna do a stacked view, which may or may not work. Let's just try that anyway. But that's Venus, guys, right now, and let's see if this will do anything. Yeah, no. It's not quite focused enough, I don't think. Yeah, it's not focused enough to they should have focused better. But you can see the shape And I'm going to, let me try here. Let me do a radical shift. All right. Oh, that actually doesn't seem bad. We're so close to the horizon right now that it's actually not, it's definitely not worth doing, but I'm doing it because you guys are here and I want to show it to you. All right, let's get this. Let's see if we can get it a little better focus. I should actually go and focus on stars first and then come back to this. Maybe that's a better idea. All right, let's do this. We're gonna fit the height here. Okay, look how small it is even in this field of view, and it's a magnified field of view. But you can see it now. It's sort of like looks like a half. Now let's go into this. All right, and let's center it up in here, and let's zoom in on it and see what we got. Yeah, look, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing kind of a just past half type of a view. You know, and you can see that. That's cool. We haven't looked at Venus before in any scope that we've had, so this is effectively the very first time you've seen it. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to see if I can add my gain way up, and I want to, and Venus is going to get very bright, and I'm going to go to like 1 second here, and Venus is going to be explosively bright, and I just want to take myself out of this field for a minute and see if I can, this is heading more toward the west. I just want to get to just stars so that I can focus. Okay. Yeah, there, it's not terribly bad, but I can tell we need to focus better. Again, we're very near the horizon, so it's not going to be an easy job focusing here, but I'm going to give it a shot. All right, let's go this way first. It's going to do that. Yeah, very hard to tell. Actually, that might be pretty close. Might be pretty close. Let's go back and try this again. So we'll come back, bring it back in, and move it up. All right, let's cut this down. Let's see if we can get a Venus shot for you guys. All right, we're going to go back to 8 milliseconds. And we're going to drop our gain down to nothing. And that's so we can actually get an image. Let's zoom in. All right, let's see if our stack will work here. I see a lot of color, so maybe not. Let's, I'm going to adjust the brightness and color properly. And now let's, we're going to reset all of these and reset the stack and do it again. See how you're getting that red and blue? That's called chromatic aberration. Never good. It's not something that we want. All right, reset the stack here. Yeah, I don't think we're going to... It's too low. Adjust brightness and color again. Reduce saturation. That helps a little bit. See what I meant by my infrared? I need it to see what's going on with the telescope. As it gets darker, it's not able to see it. Well, we're getting that's actually pretty good. That's pretty good. You can see the almost the waxing gibbous phase of Venus here. I like that. You know what? We're gonna keep this one. We're gonna call it Venus. And it's the first time for us. It's not the best. Again, it's too close to the horizon naturally. But we'll save it as a PNG, and we'll save it as a TIFF file. Then we'll reset the stack and do it again and see what we can get. You know, what we do is we hope for something called, well, good seeing. We have a little bounce in the sky. Near the horizon, everywhere on Earth, you're going to get that. And that's why, as astronomers, we don't typically look below like 40 degrees in the sky, 30 degrees, maybe 20, 25 at the most. Yeah, so yeah, you see that it's kind of cut off there, and you know, that's actually pretty cool. Let's auto adjust the brightness and color here. Yeah, that's good. So by taking the saturation down, if I take it up too high, it exaggerates the red and blue problem. But you can see the shape there kind of for a split second. But and you can actually see the yellow color now, though. That's the yellow color of Venus. That's pretty clear. And we're only looking at the featureless cloud tops of Venus. So the only thing we look for at Venus, when we look at Venus, is the phase. You know. Yeah. Michael Hendricks says, Space Mobile Bluebird satellites feature expansive antenna arrays, double the size of a tennis court. Have you seen one, Mark? They must be crazy bright. They are crazy bright. The blue walkers, I think you're talking about, you know? I am going to tell you right now, I am going to come out against them. They actually have, believe it or not, they actually have on the docket, they have an idea for putting satellites up in Earth orbit that will shine light of daytime down back on the Earth. And it's like, no, ixnay on the daylight say. We don't want that at all. That is absolutely evil and should never happen. We should never ever do that. I'll save this to a TIFF too and to a ping. All right, well that's about the best we can get Venus right now because it's so low. But not bad. We got to see Venus a little bit. When it's higher in the sky, this will look gorgeous. We can get it to look really, really pretty. All right, so I'm gonna go back to my low light mode here. Okay, and take my gain up to 200. All right, Venus is too bright. Yeah. All right, and then we're gonna fit the height in here. I was looking around on the internet, and you know what? I can't find anybody doing what we're doing. I can't. Oh, there are people that stream their telescopes and stuff like that and take pictures, but there's no astronomers out there that are actually sitting down and saying, hey guys, look at this. This is this. This is that. This is how it happens. This is how it forms. I don't know. I just don't get it. I don't understand why, Ugh. Donald, have you seen any ads come up during my stream? I literally told it I do not want ads coming up in the middle of a stream. I hate those side-by-side ads. I don't like those at all. And if there's a way to shut those down, I want to shut them down. I don't think that's it cuts the volume, it cuts the everything, and it keeps running in the background. If you pause it and then bring you back to live, let it catch up, I can understand that. But no. They put a 30-second ad in a side-by-side, and you miss what was being said. Then you got to go back and drag it, and then try and find your way again. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I don't like it. I want to get rid of it. I'm all for making money on YouTube with them. I let them make their money. I got you. But I will not be the one to say I'm going to do that garbage. Look at this here on the western horizon. Look at it. Betelgeuse is down here. Look at that. Betelgeuse. Now, let me look at how high it is up there. It is, holy cow, it's 10 degrees above the horizon. Just 10 degrees above the horizon. And then the 37 clusters here. And the rest of the winter constellations here. The Monoceros here, the Rosette Nebula. And at 15 degrees above the horizon, it'll just be like a muddy mess. I know, it's tempting, isn't it? Okay, we'll go look at the 37 cluster. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it probably doesn't look. That's the problem. All right. Here we go. There it is. Now you know why it's called the 37 cluster. You can see it right away. All right, and now let's do this. Not sure how our guide stars will come in at this altitude, but let's find out. Well, we got a couple, so let's grab them. We got it. Okay, so that's going. Now we're guiding on the 37 cluster. Not sure it's perfectly focused yet. I haven't done really that yet, but we're so close to the horizon that it almost doesn't matter. Now we're going to do a 15-second photo of the 37 cluster, and you're gonna find this cluster pretty fun. All right, so there it goes. I'm gonna get out of low light and go into deep sky mode. All right, it automatically adjusts to make it the height there, but I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna bring this down. There it is, 37. See the 3 and the 7. See, 17. Now you look at that and you say, that is perfect. That's a perfect 37. How does that happen? You know? But in fact, those stars are at all different angles. And by the way, in Space Engine, you can go to 37 cluster and move around them and see there's just a cluster. From our direction, it just happens to approximate what our brain perceives as a 3 and a 7. It's really cool. That's the value. Oh, look, in this one, you can look right down into the telescope. You see the mirror right there? Look at that. Actually, I'm looking at... I'm going to make a change in this because it looks to me like... I need to make a slight adjustment here. And I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to do that. Just a sec. Pull this up. Get the rest of the frame in the view. Come on, hey. Oh, wait. No, it's not true. I have this in the wrong spot. I'm going to move this down. And move this down. Okay. Now you get the rest of the view. And that's the rest of the story. Remember that? Paul Harvey. Good day. All right, so we stacked 6 images here. And you can see them there. And the 37 cluster is interesting because it has, blue stars in it. It has orange red giants in it. It's a cluster that has been evolving. And the stars inside the cluster have evolved to red giant stage, meaning they've gone through all their hydrogen and very likely started swelling into red giants. That swelling process occurs because as the star runs out of hydrogen, it stops outputting energy, and so gravity starts to win and starts to collapse the star, and consequently at the same time the core begins to collapse, and as the core begins to collapse, it gets hotter, and as it gets hotter, more elements now come into play to be fused that you can do. So it takes the helium that it made and perhaps starts fusing it into carbon, all right, and so forth. So when it does that, it's a new source of material, a new source of energy, and it starts pushing back out again. And those outer layers blow up like a big balloon, a big red balloon. And why is it red? Because they're farther from the very hot center. And as things get cooler, they turn redder in the universe. Okay, as they get hotter, they turn bluer. So blue is the hottest color, and red is the coolest color. And I don't mean like cool, daddy-o. I mean like, temperature-wise. All right, so there's 37. Let's save it. Guiding course is impeccable right now, even near the horizon. Very happy. First thing I'll do is make a notation of where we are. So let's figure that out, and we should get the 37 cluster there. And it's actually called the LE cluster. Why? Because if we look at it by turning our heads so our eyes are here and our mouth is here, you'll see L and E. Upside down is the 37 cluster. So I don't know. It's just the way it is. Okay, we'll save it with annotations so you can see it, get some data with it. Right? And then we will call this a save, and then save exactly as we see it. All right. There we go. So there's the 37 cluster taken down in the murk. You can see the telescope is pointing actually toward the western horizon where it's nearly daytime for the telescope anyway. All right, and I will check the chat here in a moment. It's up, but I just haven't read it. I just want to see if anyone's asked for any particular objects. Yes. Let's see. Oh, so I did have a side-by-side ad come up. I don't like those. I'm gonna if I can stop them, I'm gonna. I promise. I do not like those. I will stop them. Yeah, if I can do it, George, I will do it. I promise. Okay, now let's go back to this guy. Obviously, we're way down low here. Well, let's move up the path here. And the ecliptic's going to look bad. We're not going to look at that. But we have a lot to look at tonight because we have Jupiter right up here. Right? We looked at Venus. Let's go check out Jupiter while we're here. All right? And let's see how Jupiter looks tonight. You look at the telescope moving up in the sky there. You can see that's heading up there. Yay, go, go, go. And there's the Jupe. Now, obviously, Jupiter is a little bit bright right now. I gotta move it down into the view better, which I'm doing. You can see the moons, of course. We'll identify those moons in just a second. There we go. All right, perfect. So now we're gonna get rid of this over processing. So we're gonna get a little circle there. We can see the moons, not all of them. Let's do this. Okay, it looks like 2 moons are visible unless one's behind another one. Let's go see which moons are currently visible in Jupiter. So let's do this. Come in here, and let's see which one is closest to Jupiter. Okay, so that's Ganymede and Callisto. Callisto's farthest. That's Callisto, that's Ganymede. And Europa is behind Jupiter. And where's Io? Oh, Io's shadow is on Jupiter. Io's in front. So another happenstance. Let's go see if we can do what we did before. Let's drop our levels down to 0. And let's see if we can go see the shadow of Io on the surface of Jupiter like we saw before. Okay, so let's pull this up a little. And this depends on being really well focused, so we may have to refocus this. Yeah, it doesn't look perfectly focused yet. Let's just try it and see what we get. Auto sharpen that. Auto sharpen more. Alright. Yeah, it's I probably need to sharpen this a little more. We can see the shadow right there. The shadow's there, but we need that. You can see Io's shadow. See that? It's beautiful. But we actually do need to do a little more sharpening on this to get this up to snuff. That's what we'll do. Let me adjust the color and the brightness too. There we go. Oh yeah, the shadow's really pretty. Look at that. Gorgeous. We don't need to have this identify it. We know what it is. Wow, that's pretty. Add a little more color to that though. Yeah, look at that. Wow. Oh, this is like a banner night. We've got Venus. You can see the phase of Venus. We got Io's shadow on the planet. That's pretty. Yeah, and we'll save that in the Jupiter directory, both as a TIFF, so I can operate on it, and as a PNG, so you can just download it directly. You can download the TIFFs too. All right, let's reset the stack. Do it again. All right. Notice the first ones are awful, and then as it stacks more, the image gets cleaner. That's because there's digital noise, and this randomizes the noise. It randomizes it out. That's how stacking works, and that's what this is doing. It's stacking And we're going to stack 100 images. Right now it's stacked about 40. See that? And after 40, it looks pretty good. Now, when the Juno probe goes over the poles of Jupiter, you notice the blue? Well, there it is. We see it here. We got that blue tint up here as well. Pretty obvious. Okay, we're at 67 frames, and Io is standing out quite, the shadow is standing out quite brightly. Let me see if I can do a fine adjustment here. Pull that back until the noise goes away. Let me see if I can just pull it up a little bit. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Level 4 is going to be disastrous. So I'll pull that down and bring it up just a tad. Helps identify the bands and the zones. Okay, this guy is not good like that. I'm going to pull that down. Yeah, you see how the shadow is almost not visible right now? That's because it wasn't perfect, so we're going to reset and do it again. Then we'll move on. Yeah, it's refining a little better, you know, but I don't like how it's doing it. It's not doing it right. It's not working, Brian. I don't like it, Brian. Yeah, so that one. That was a blown one. That one doesn't work. This one might be good. See, if Jupiter bobbles a little bit, that's the problem. Excuse me. Okay. I have to tell you, my first time doing this, I never, I didn't think I was going to see the shadow of Io on Jupiter's cloud tops, but you know, there it is. You know, and this is not as good as the other one we took. Not good enough. Let's take this up a little. Okay, and let's do this one. Okay, not too much, too much. How about this one? Yeah, that's better. That's the one we want. You can always overdo the processing. You know, this is going to overprocess it. See? Wow! Okay. Yeah, that other one was better, so we're gonna stick to that one. Okay. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Ray, for putting that in. That was the you're talking about the Shoemaker-Levy incident, right? That's SL9. Oh yeah, here you are. Yep. I had the telescope out. I had an earlier telescope I owned out looking at it, and it was just amazing to watch these scars as the Jupiter turned and rotated through the night. The scars showed up one by one, and they were a little bigger than, you know, a little bit bigger than Io's spot on Jupiter's face here. You know, it's almost worth leaving this entirely and going back out and refocusing. Let me see if I can grab a little better focus here. Yeah, that focused a little better. Let's do it again. That didn't, but let's go back the other way. Okay, now that looks like it's better focused. Let's try this again. And we're going to refine the image as we stack more. We got 30 of them stacked now. As I stop talking there, adjust the brightness. Let's bring the saturation down for a minute. Okay, there we go. Now it's starting to kick in. All right, and then we're gonna. Yeah, this red fringing is due to the atmospheric effects of it being low in the atmosphere. So we caught it just before it actually. We caught it just before it was going to get bad. So let's do this. And then do that a little more. Cut the saturation down a little bit. And then pull this up a little more. This one probably too much. Yeah, it's getting muddy now, and we almost lost IO shadow. Well, we got lucky. We got lucky to see IO shadow. So that's good. So that said, this was fun. We got to see that, which is neat. Now we're gonna go blasting out of Jupiter. All right, we're gonna do this, and we're at 116% on our sensor right now. Okay, and now Jupiter, you'll see, is really low. It's literally, it goes down. Right now it's 13 or 33 degrees, and this is live, so you're actually seeing how far down it's going in the sky. All right, so now back out of that, you'll see the horizon right there. Actually, no, you won't. It's actually farther than I thought. That's okay. All right, so now let's go up here to this cluster. This is a wonderful cluster. It's one of the first clusters I ever looked at as a kid, called Messier 44, known as Praesepe, or the Beehive. And the Beehive was a neat cluster of stars because it really showed a tremendous, beautiful view in an eyepiece, especially at low power. At low power, it's a real showpiece. All right, so now let's do this. Let's yeah, this is what we want. Now I'm going to do the focus run now because I'd like to do that. So we're gonna defocus the stars. Actually, that's perfect. And then we're gonna come in and we're going to do a negative run. There goes a Starlink satellite. We're gonna do a negative focus run right now. And these should give us the stars. We have six now, and we'll get more. And we'll just let this happen. You've heard it before, but I'll say it again. It's going to build a curve down here. As it gets into focus, the curve gets smaller at this end, and then it gets higher again outside. And that centerpiece, which may not be an exact location that stopped, is the interpolated center and focal point. We have 9 stars, now 10. And the curve is going to keep adjusting as we go. So we'll see if this works. If it doesn't, we do it again. I found that slightly longer exposures will work. Here's the curve. I kind of moved by accident. So you see how the curve is going. It's getting closer. And then it looks like it bottoms out right about here. And then it goes back up. You'll see it starting to go back up. All right, if it doesn't figure it out, yeah, see, if it doesn't figure it out, then what we do is we actually do a slightly longer exposure. We're going to say 5 seconds, but I'm also going to do this. I'm going to, well, I will when I get my control back. All right. All right, 1 second. I gotta bring us back in. It does that now and then. Our Starlink satellites get lost. Okay. Now, let me, let me go back to this. When you defocus stars, by the way, you can see their colors much better. And that's kind of what this is showing. There's always a reason. There's always something that is advantageous. You know, for doing some of the things that you never would consider doing with a telescope. And by refocusing or defocusing, you see the colors of the stars really well. Also, if you let them make a trail on you, you stop tracking, let them make a trail. You can see them doing that as well. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. Get out of there. Okay, me get out of there. All right. Let's do this. And let's go here. All right. Alright, they're coming back down. I gotta do a giant leap because, and that's 800 stepper motor leap, so that's not much at all actually. Okay, so now I can go back to 400 here. That's just a massive leap. Okay, so now I'm gonna go positive again. Actually, that looks pretty good right there. That's pretty good. Let me see what 75 does. Okay, actually, yeah, that actually went slightly back the other way. So this looks like it might be a good focus. Hi, Starlink. Probably Starlink. All right. That's good. So anyway, this is the beehive. We didn't take a photo of it at all, but it's there. Now, let's go look at something that's going to be really cool. Now, we have Leo the Lion is really, really up high in the sky. But we also have Coma Berenices, or Berenices hair, which is up there too. And I want to show you that too, because there is a cluster of galaxies in here. It's actually the Coma cluster, and it's just amazing. So let's look at that. So as we zoom in, okay, you'll say, well, where's all the galaxies? If we move around in here, you'll see them. All right, first of all, those are stars, right? And this again is Berenices hair, which of course we can see by looking at this. Okay. All right, so I'll get rid of that. And the koi fish is pretty too. We should look at that as well. But you'll see there's a bunch of galaxies down here. All right, this one I thought we did the other night. This is the Needle Galaxy. We did do that. We didn't do the koi fish yet. But there is a cluster that we can actually see a dozen or more in one shot. And I think we'll do that one too. We did 4725. Here's the cluster coming up. Right? Look at that. Those are all galaxies. Can you believe it? Let's say we actually take a picture of this right here. What do you say? I think that's a good idea. So we're going to go to this spot in the sky. All right. And the telescope crosshair will come over here in just a second. All right. All right. Now I got to turn on my, turn on this, there we go. You got to be careful. We got a lot of equipment hanging off the bottom of the telescope here. We don't want this to ever hit the pier. Probably won't. what it's doing now, it can't, but just to be careful. All right, let me turn on the status lights here. Okay, that's not the one I wanted. I want the other one. So I'm going to go back to the inside one. And here we go. So I'm going to turn on the lights now. Look at that cluster, huh? That's crazy. All right, now let's do this. Let's turn on these. All right, and go to advanced. Night vision IR. There we go. Boom. All right. So now we have those on. I can tell what the telescope's doing. And I can also show you the equipment hanging off the bottom of it there. I'm really excited about coming out to Arizona to do this installation. And then I'm very excited even more to do the Contact in the Desert conference. All right, so let's take a look now. Look at all these galaxies in here. I just think that's amazing. And when you look here, it's like, where are they? Where are they? Now we're going to go to 200 gain. All right, and that works photographically. But let's do let's do a 5-second shot. All right. There we go. There's a hint of a galaxy there and there. So let's actually do that. Let's see if we can identify. It probably doesn't. It may have enough stars. I gotta see. Oh yeah, look at that. All right. So 4926 is here. I like that galaxy, and then 4911 is there. But there's more. Hold on. Let's. I should have left that up. Let's do this. Let's see if we can bring this down a little bit. Oh, sorry, I'm doing 5 seconds. Let me go back to 1 second here. All right, and let's bring it down. All right, and because I want to actually focus on one cluster in particular, one like this guy. All right, let's move to that. All right, so the telescope is there. Look at all those galaxies. This is just an incredible field. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take I'll take a 10-second shot and then refine this position. I can sort of see like 1 or 2 galaxies right there already, and another one here. Well, we'll find them now. We'll see. Oh yeah, look at that. All right, so now let's refine this position. Let's see how far off we are. 0.4 degrees. Okay, good. So we're going to be centered up right on that spot. And to do it, we're going to go back to our 1 second. We'll probably already be there. There we are. Yeah, those are all galaxies in there, guys. Wait until you see this. This is cool. All right, let's go here and grab our guide star. All right. All right, let's first of all, let me get rid of that. Okay. All right, let's stop, please. Let's do this. Yeah, we're gonna have to grab this star. It's really bright. Okay, good, but if I can actually see the top of the peak, it's not too bright. Excellent. So let's guide on that. Very good. Okay, now let's do, you ready for this? We're going to be at 200 gain. We're going to do a 35-second shot. All All right, now we do have some wind out there, but right now I'm hoping that it will not destroy our image. See how it's moved off a little? Let's see what we get. Let's live stack this thing. All right, so this, now the Coma cluster, you know, is, again, it's a cluster of galaxies. We see a lot of these superclusters out there. And the Virgo cluster is one such supercluster, the constellation of Virgo. A million galaxies in that whole region of space. It's incredible how many there are. Let me dump this. Okay, and color correct this. Yeah, there we are. And let's do the zoom here. I see what's going on. I gotta fix it. All right, and now we'll come in here. All right. Actually, it's doing pretty good. I don't know why it's... Oh, I know what I can do. I'm going to change this exposure to 1 second, so it'll actually have a better chance of grabbing this. So let's do this again. Actually, it's still on it, so I'll grab that star and guide on that star again. All right. All right, so now let's go here, pull this back. Look at all the fuzzies. Man, that's crazy. So, that's a galaxy, that's a galaxy, that's a galaxy, that's a galaxy, that's a galaxy. That, of course, that is. And as time goes on, you'll see more showing up. Just amazing. Now, we are also, the wind, I think, is causing us not to guide 100% here. Yeah. All right. And it's not taking more than one frame. And the reason is because why? I'm going to do that. Because we're guiding. It's off a little bit because of the wind. You see how it's moving? Yeah. All right, let's clear and restart. All right, let's do this again. Marianne Robinson with us. Hey, Marianne. Yes, Marianne, I mentioned that the Etsy store unfortunately has to be not shut down, but put on hold for now until we figure out what happened, whether we were hacked or whatever. Agreed. Okay. Jamie Rotan, how are you? Nice to see you. I just looking in the chat now. You've probably been here wondering, why didn't he say anything? Sorry about that. All right. Thank you for coming in with us and hanging out. Okay. Sam S. was singing you a song, Marianne. Hello, Marianne. Probably the theme to Gilligan's Island or something. Skipper! Alright, let's see what's happening here. You know, like, it looks fuzzy, right? Now, the problem is it's only catching one, so I have to take off the alignment and let the guider do the work. Not sure why it can't. Oh, I do. It's all galaxies, so it doesn't have stars that it can lock onto reliably. So when you take pictures of galaxy clusters, this happens. So this next one's going to go into the stack category as number 2, because right now it says 1, okay? And now it'll be 2 and 2, see? Because now we're actually able to get it, whereas we couldn't before because there were just too many fuzzy things. You couldn't tell what was something it could align on. That's how alignment works. But every fuzzy object in here, it's not out of focus. It's actually all galaxies. There are just a huge number of galaxies in here. And it almost looks like a bad photograph. But this is, imagine now if you lived here, you know, it would be crazy if you're in one of these galaxies. Kathy Messick, will we be seeing you at Contact? I guess we will. Nice. I'll be happy. You're going to go with, is it your daughter again? In the second season of Gilligan's Island, the Professor and Marianne, what did I miss here? Oh, I see. I didn't have a chat open fully. They added the Professor and Marianne. Oh, that's right. The Professor and Marianne here on Gilligan's Isle. Yep. Hey, just remember, Marianne was a lot of people's favorite person. So, see, Marianne, you're in good company. Ginger was too into herself, you know. Nobody liked Ginger. Except 12-year-old boys, I guess. Alright, so let's do this. Let's start adding some contrast. So you can see now, our fuzzy sky is really turning out to be, you know, we got some solid stars in here. See that? Got some solid stars, but all these are galaxies. And it almost looks out of place to have a star that's somewhat in focus. Right? Really cool. We're going to call this the Coma cluster. Coma Bernices cluster. Nicole is with us. I wonder how many galaxies there are there that we're looking at right now, staring back at us, looking at us in the Milky Way. You know what? Very good point, Nicole. I've often wondered that myself. It's like I think of that. In fact, when I was on the Y-Files, I mentioned that to AJ. I said, if I recall, I was talking about life in the universe, and I said, hey, you know, there might be a tremendous amount of life, you know, in the universe. And when we look at galaxies, we could be seeing a bunch of life, you know, looking back at us. I don't remember if we said that on the air during the recording or if I said that to him in the conference room before we were there. But just so you know, in this picture right here, in this image, there's over 1,000 galaxies, just so you know. Many of them are fainter than you could see. But there's also giant elliptical galaxies, which are galaxies without spiral arms, without dust. They're just large, old stars. So it's almost like they're the cores of very old galaxies that used to have spiral arms. And maybe through interactions were stripped of all their young hot stars or whatever, you know. And there's really not many at all that are what I would call spiral galaxies here in this Coma cluster. You know? But look at that, huh? That's all galaxies. And that's why we couldn't align, because it couldn't actually decide what was a galaxy and what was a star. Our next one will be better because we're gonna focus on one particular galaxy that's sort of in this region. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's see. We got 9. We're gonna go to 10. And then we'll save it again. I'm gonna save it now anyway, just to have it. Guiding is doing okay. See, when it fails, it's because it's you can see how the centroid, or that central brightest area, it's a flat top, and see how it's flat at the top? It means that it's a little bit, it's actually too bright. So I'm going to go to half a second on this, and that's going to drop the brightness down. Yeah, so now it's guiding here. And what I'll do, okay, we got 10. That's good. It's hard for guiders to know what to pick up on, because unless you got a good solid star, you know, it's not going to work very well. All right, so that is that. That's the Coma Berenices cluster. And we'll go back to our low light mode here. You'll just see the subtlest of hints that they're in there. When we go here, okay, it's our low light. Now what we'll do here is we're going to go to this other galaxy. We're going to back out of here. And we did this guy before. And I want to go to, back out of this. Let's go, was it over here? Or down here? I'll find it. There it is. Koi Fish Galaxy. How far off am I? Oh, not that bad. But this one is cool because it actually encompasses the entire frame. Okay, so that's really nice. All right, and so we're also looking quite straight up in the air. So this is the best of both worlds. We're actually seeing this telescope is pointing almost exactly straight up. So that means looking through the least amount of air, and so we should have a good view. I'm just going to do a 8-second shot to make sure it's here. All right, now we'll see what it looks like. There it is. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to our 1-second shot and move it up in our view. I kind of thought that's where it was. Okay, and then move it over. Okay. All right, now that we're there, let's go grab a guide star again. And not fake it out. Oh, this is half a second. I want to do 1 second here. All right, let's do that again. I'm sorry, wrong one. This one. There we go. All right. And bring us in just a little this. Okay. And let's get out of that. Let's figure out stars. Do it again. Let's do 1.5 seconds. I'm trying to get it to pick that star up there. So if it's not, I can just force it to by making it do it like that, and then say center it up. So it's going to center it now. Now we'll start guiding on that star. The centroid, see, it's a little too bright, so I'm going to come down to 1 second here. Make this drop this peak a little bit. All right. So there, and now that should stay in there as the night wears on. The winds are dying down out there anyway. So we're going to do a 35-second shot of this, and we're at 200 gain. And we're going to go into our deep sky mode. Rachia. There we go. And this is called the Koi Fish Galaxy. Now, this is a galaxy where there's no doubt that there could be some life looking back at us here. It's 43 million light years away. Okay, kind of looks like this. All right, and it'll take us a few images to get it to look good, but it's gonna pretty much fill this whole thing when we're done. At least it should. Yeah, see, that's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna go all the way down here. All right, now typically with the first frame and you go to like color correct, it's not really gonna be that accurate. So as you can see, when I hit the color correction, it doesn't really do much. So we wait for a couple frames to come in, and when we get a couple frames, or maybe 3 or 4 frames, then we can start to correct. All right, and we'll just, while we're waiting, we'll just name this the Koi Fish Galaxy. Okay. You notice when the second one comes in, you already start to see detail in here. That's really nice. Let's see. I got 2. All right. All right, so let's see now if anyone in the chat has anything to add. Genghis is with us. Hey, Genghis. Yeah, the STLS tribe's got some clear skies, man. Yeah. Yes, sirree. I see. Cool people, man. You guys are such cool people. Hey, Bob, you watch out with those taser comments. Bzzz. Yeah. You know, I've never been tased in my life. That's because I've never been in trouble with the law. I'm always on the good. I'm one of the good guys. So that's why. When you're a good guy, they don't come after you. Well, that's not true, huh? They could. Okay, so see now with proper colors, you can start to see some of the details showing up in here. That's really cool. MDH, how you doing? And by the way, Lewis, Lewis Papercraft, yeah, the whirlpool's up. We can check that out, but I do want to look at some things we haven't seen before as well. Yeah, Genghis says a lot of rain he's been dealing with, but it's finally getting a little break. That's good. Yeah. And someone's congratulating Catherine. How are you? What'd you do? What's going on, Kathy Messick? Congratulations for what? What I missed? Do you have good news of some kind? Come on, inquiring minds want to know. Okay. Oh, Nicola, you asked me a question earlier I missed. I'm sorry. You said, Mark, what is that area that is the most populated with galaxies? That's going to be probably the Virgo supercluster, Nicola. And the Virgo supercluster is up. It's a little, the Coma cluster is dense. They're tightly packed, and the Virgo cluster is not quite as dense. They're spread out more, but some of them are closer, and so it looks pretty interesting. So we'll see what we can do with the Virgo area as well. Yeah. Marianne, stop that. She writes, "Oh, cool. Please send me some rain." No, you don't want rain. Because if you have rain, it means that we can no longer view the sky like we're doing tonight. So I don't want rain. Yes, Cornucopia, the Crab Nebula, we viewed during the winter. It's a wintertime object, and Taurus is in the setting. It's setting, if it hasn't already, actually. So, I believe it has. So we come here, back out of this for a minute, and yeah, see, we're looking straight up almost. Yeah, and Whirlpool is almost overhead too, so that's a good place. But yeah, it's set. But look what's coming up. Right now on the horizon is the a globular cluster called the Crab Globular Cluster, and we have the Ophiuchus Nebula, and this is Scorpio, the Scorpion. See, ta-da! There's a Scorpion starting to rise. Okay, with Libra right there. Yeah, so the summertime constellations are rising, and if we look off to the northeast, okay, of course we have Messier 13. We'll check that out too. We have Vega rising, which is one of the summertime summer star for the summer triangle, and then rising down here is this star right here. That's Deneb. Okay, and Deneb is the second star in the summer triangle. Then you have Vega, and then if we remove the ground momentarily, you'll see Altair here down below the horizon. Altair is rising as well. Altair, Vega, and Deneb make the summer triangle. So that's the summer triangle. When you see those, summers are coming, you know, and that's really cool. Let's go back to the koi fish. Look at the detail now. Notice the color of the koi fish, guys. It's sort of a bluish color. Let's take that down and let's make this full screen. You can see the spiral nature. Look at that. You can see the spiral coming out and whipping right around there. See that? That's beautiful. Let's see if we can do a correction here. Yeah, it's putting a little too much green into it. Sometimes it gets fooled, and we gotta fix it. Here we go. All right, so that's neat. All right, so also let's do this. Let's try to bring our data line in a little bit more, just to get a little bit more out of this. So you can see it goes out here and up there. See that? That's the bright core of the galaxy. You know, and the thing is, I tend to like to bring this mid-level down to the point where most of the noise is removed. And when you do this, okay, you can see detail that that gets lost in the noise. Okay, but if we overprocess it, you can see what's out there, what's hiding in the background. See, so there's more out here, some more out here. That's hiding in the background. Really cool. Very nice. Remember, that program I showed you at the beginning was a space engine. If you want to tool around the universe, if you want to dive into lunar craters and come up the other side, oh man, that's the tool to do it with. Now, I also showed you the tool called the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter Quick Map. That is another beautiful tool for exploring the moon, but it's the actual photos of the moon. This is, with Space Engine, is digitized data from the moon. So it's pretty cool either way, though. Let me just... Okay. Alright. Sorry about that noise. Marianne Robb was tased before. That's why she's so anxious to tase other people. I had it happen to me. I'm going to make it happen to you. She said she screamed like a little girl for 4 seconds. Yeah, well, you know. Hey, you know what? no one is a tough guy when you're getting tased. Absolutely not. I think it's involuntary too. I don't think you can control what's coming out at that time. I wonder if people had bathroom accidents when they were tased. I haven't even asked that question. I don't think I want to know. Yes, Dad. That's right, Donald. Altair was the name of Anne Francis's character in Forbidden Planet. That's right. Yep. It's the evil of the Krell. Yeah. I remember that was, it had that little, and it was really crazy. I remember watching that as a kid, and it scared me. Oh man, the Krell are gonna break down the door, and you see, you see him burning through the door. As a little kid, it scared me. I'll tell you. But I liked it. We're gonna go to 20, and we'll move on. Let's actually, koi fish we got. Let's save this anyway, in case for some reason the last one gets blown. Save exactly as seen. BB and Louis Barron. Okay, they did the score for that. All right. Cops must experience tasing during training, Donald Kunzer says. Nope, only Marianne. I'm kidding, of course. All right, I'm looking at this thinking we're getting kind of close to the pier, but I'm going to look here, and you can see it's pretty straight up and down. So we'd have a ways to go before we hit the pier. So we're good. So we did our 20. We will save this. 21, good. And save exactly as seen. All right, and there we go. Let me pull this off the black line here just to soften up and give me a little more detail possibly. Hey, well, there we go. 22. So we'll save it. Save exactly as seen. And be done. All right. That's that guy. So now let's go to something a little less esoteric. Let's go to something cool. And I'm going to do it with this low light mode. And let's go see. And up here, there's Arcturus. And, you know, what's neat about this program, which is Stellarium, is you can tell it what culture you're in, and it will show you the constellations for that culture. It's fascinating. Now, there was a star we were watching down here, T Corridor in Corona Borealis, because it was going to go nova, not supernova, but nova. Now, the difference between a supernova and a nova is pretty straightforward, and I'll tell you what that is real fast as we're going to this next object. Okay, what it does is when you look at a supernova, the core of the star collapses. All right, and when the core of the star collapses, it just obliterates the whole star. All right, but in this particular case, when we're talking about a nova, it happens that one of the stars is a you gotta find it. One of the stars is a white dwarf, and the other is a red giant. And the white dwarf used to be a regular star, so it was two stars orbiting each other. Binaries. One expands to a red giant and then collapses into a white dwarf over a few hundreds of millions of billion years. And then the other one goes into a red giant stage. Now that's a critical point because the white dwarf is orbiting the red giant, okay, and vice versa. And the white dwarf may have just as much mass as it had when it was a full star, but now it's compacted. So if the mass of that white dwarf is 1.44 solar masses or less, then the following thing can happen. If you have the red giant and then you have the white dwarf orbiting it, there's a common center of rotation called the barycenter. And if the red giant gets big enough, gas from that outer region gets sucked through that barycenter and deposit on the white dwarf. Now, if that happens, one of the things that can happen is that all that hydrogen gas now on the surface of the white dwarf could at some point reach a critical level and a critical temperature and go through a long prolonged period of fusion on the surface of the white dwarf, and that's will brighten the star up immensely for a short period of time while it's doing that, and that might last just a day or two or three. Okay, and that is a nova, right? So the supernova is that involves a white dwarf is different. You have core collapse and you have a white dwarf, and they're called a type 1a, Roman numeral 1, little a. And the type 1a supernova, I'll try to do two things at once here, sorry. The type 1a supernova is where you have a white dwarf that is 1.44 solar masses, right at that near that limit. And so look at the wind, okay? And the supernova at that particular, the white dwarf at that particular mass can't take any more mass. If it takes more mass onto it, then what happens is that white dwarf can explode, and that's what happens with a type 1a. The nice thing is when we watch these supernovae that are type 1a, we know exactly what the type 1a's do, and we know how bright they are. So we can actually figure out how far things are by looking at the brightness of these type 1a supernovas out there. We're getting a lot of wind all of a sudden. Look at that. That is very bad. Let me stop this. Yeah. Well, I'm going to try to locate our position and go to this globular cluster. Looks like we're okay right now. Okay, good. We got it. We're very close. There it is. All right. So when you look at like I said, a type 1a supernova, then you're looking at a object that we know how bright they get, and if we see them in a galaxy far away, we know how bright they are, and we know how bright they do get. So we'll be able to determine a lot of things about it. We can determine its distance, we can determine its yield, and all the nature of what it's actually got in it, because we can use a spectrograph to figure out its spectra, which is what we're going to be doing. You know? All right. So let's grab a guide star here for Measure 13. Let's go back to 1 second first for this, and then do that, and grab a guide star. Yeah, we got a couple. So let's see if it'll find that one. It doesn't like the guide stars that I'm wanting, that's for sure. But, alright, we'll let it stabilize. And once it's stable, tell it to guide. I just did that. Okay, I think it started prematurely. I gotta do it again. Okay. Alright, so now it's gonna center it up. It's probably not the best star, but that's what we got. Yeah, it's bouncing around pretty bad here. The wind may not allow us to capture this tonight. But let's give it a try, shall we? Why not? Alright. I don't hold much hope because it's really bouncing pretty badly. It should be only a 12-second shot. So is everything. We'll do our live stack and get out of the low light mode. Hey Bob, thank you for putting up our links, man. Yeah, see? We're gonna clear this and try again. Yeah, still not. It should be perfectly clear. If it doesn't work, we'll move to something else. Okay. Yeah, it's not working. We're getting some wind out there, so it's not perfect. So I will take us somewhere else, and maybe that will help us. Where would that be, Mark? I don't know. I'll show you. I want to take you somewhere where it doesn't matter as much. So here's what's coming up down here. We got Cygnus the Swan coming up, which is this guy down here. There's Cygnus. That beautiful head of the swan is actually a beautiful star that's a visual double called Alberio. One component is a beautiful orange star, and the other one is a beautiful blue star. And because the stars are so bright, you see the color with your eyes. You can actually see the color. And it's hard to see the color otherwise. Okay, now we did have a request for the whirlpool earlier. So let's go up here. We also have M81 and M82. And we should look at those as well. But let's do the request first. Alright, so let's go there. Let's do Measure 51, which is the Whirlpool Galaxy. Here it is. And let's go there. We're going to try to look at that guy. And because it's in the north, we might do better because the lines are closer together and the guiding isn't as bad. We might be able to get away with it. Alright, so let's go see what we got. Let's go see! Might be right there. So I'm going to pull it back down. That's it, I'm sure. No, that's it. Nicey, nicey. Alright. And now let's put it toward the center a little more. Alright, get it right there in the middle. Alright, this will be our request for the Whirlpool Galaxy tonight. Let's stop this. Do a review here of the star fields. See what we can get. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's doing that. It shouldn't be doing that. It should be getting our stars. Let's try that. Okay. Yeah, we're already having a problem with that guy, so I'm gonna pick this guy. Why is it? Let me do this. Let me do this. I'm gonna grab just grabbing the guide star. Alright, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to manually select. Rather not do that. Well, there's the peak, so... No, we don't have clouds, do we? No, I don't think so. Let's check it out. Okay, no, we don't. It's good. By the way, when I get my camera here, you're going to see way more than this one shows. I have a really good camera that shows a lot. It's all color, too. This one is, too. But it's going to show a beautiful... it's going to show a beautiful Milky Way as well, even in the winter. Yeah, see, we're getting wind. Well, we'll try, guys. We're going to try. Maybe if I use a brighter star. This is the brightest one in the field. And I'm going to take this and go down to like 0.5 seconds. Okay, so you can see that it's being blown around a bit. Okay, but that's about the best we're getting for this. So if it stays locked in, then we'll give it a try. Let's do a 25-second photo while guiding this. And let's do deep sky mode. And just wait. Oh boy, Carlin, you're coming down my alley now. Remember George Carlin? Wow. Here we go, that worked. Donald Kunzer asks, is Mercury in retrograde? No, it's not in retrograde right now. Goes in retrograde 3 times this year. It's currently sitting in a peaceful window between the first 2 cycles right now. Okay, let's dock this up here and then just increase the size. There we go. Okay, so this is our whirlpool now. I will give you the annotated view of this. And the Whirlpool Galaxy is this guy here. Alright, so we'll save, we'll set the target name first of all, then save the image with annotations. I was watching this camera, at night one time, and I just watched this giant creature come walking down, and it's like a spider making a web. So I moved the camera, and it was like, ah! And it ran away. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, so now let's do this. All right, we got 4 taken here. Goody goody. The atmosphere is pretty active tonight. Nicola says, how much wind does it take to affect the scope? Actually, on scopes that are wide field, it takes more wind to affect it negatively than narrow field like this. This is narrow field. We have very, very little room to maneuver when we have wind. it's so magnified at the slightest motion is going to make a quiver in the telescope, and that corresponds to a dash of light that used to be a star that was round. And we can't actually do that. Mr. Django, what's up? How's it going over there in Belgium? It's morning for you over there. Very nice to see you here. Thanks for coming in. Rainy Belgium. Ah, man. No way. No way. Wow. It's, well, of course, we're approaching summer, so I start later, unfortunately. So it's an hour after sunset when we can actually start in earnest. So sunset was at 7:11 out there in Benson. So I couldn't start till 8:11 really to actually start doing photography. And that means 3 hours after that. So that's just after 11 p.m. I could actually start in earnest. And that's kind of what we did. Oh. So what do you think? Do you think SkyTour Livestream is worth hanging out and worth passing out to folks? You know, even if we take pictures of upside down snails. Lewis says the smaller companion galaxy may help maintain the arms of the Whirlpool galaxy. Cornucopia asks. Actually, you're kind of both right, because Lewis says I think the Whirlpool will absorb the smaller one. Okay, let me show you something. Okay, if this is the main galaxy and this is the satellite galaxy, smaller, the satellite galaxy appears to have gone by, in a gravitational interaction, gone by the main galaxy. And as it did this. So this is the spiral arms out here. Okay, and here's this one. As it went by, and I'll turn it on its side, as it came through, it did this. Okay, watch. It did this. It pulled the spiral arms down. And that's kind of the configuration it's in now. Right, so one part of the galaxy is warped downward, and it's going to continue to do that and change the nature over millions of years. But that area is right here. You can see the tugging. You can see the point right here. Whereas this is wildly out and around. This is sharp, and it's a sharp cut right here. That's because these stars are being pulled toward that. And so as it went through, it tugged it down, right, and kind of pulled stars along with it. But from the top, it looks like that. You can't really tell. And studying the flow of neutral hydrogen in the galaxy can give us the directions that most of the gas is going, and it helps us find the overall shape when we're looking at it face on like this, and the overall, in and out that it's going. All right, so we got 14 frames here at 25 seconds. And now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually pull this back a little so we can see some of the detail in here. Then I'm going to pull this guy back a little. Kind of just to soften this up and show you some of the subtle detail in here. And we'll zoom out a little bit here. Now, we can use this to overprocess. Now, watch this. You can see what's hidden in here. Lots of stuff is hidden in here. And you've heard me mention this before, but this camera has a very good HDR response. So we get a very, very high definition image if we want, and we can actually bring this back, this white value, can bring it way back and see data that's hidden deep inside the core of the galaxy. Or we can move this all the way out toward this other curve and make it really too bright, so the inner part of the galaxy is washed out, but we can see all the data on the outside of the galaxy. So that's because we have a high dynamic range camera, HDR camera, which will allow us to go high and low at both ends of the spectrum and have all the data in between. Very important for these digital cameras. You know. Curtis Horn's with us. Hey, Curtis, how you doing, man? Did you say I'm going to see you at Contact in the Desert out in Indian Wells? I think you told me that. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you. Of course, I was told today I'm on speaker panels and other things too. So I'm on a panel with a guy named Thomas Jane. I've never met him, but I guess he's popular with some stuff. I'm looking forward to that. Okay, let's do that. Look at that. This is coming out nice. Oh, you're going to Space Tech Expo. Okay, Curtis. All right, but I thought you told me you were going to be somewhere where I was. And Nicola says you can see the stellar streams. Yeah, you can. Very good observation. When we do this, this is called a push, where you bring these curves closer to each other, you can start to see the stellar streams. And if we were to back out more, you'd be able to see that this one is going further here. Let's see if I can color correct this to make that a little more obvious. That's the wrong color. Let's pull down the blue a little. Okay. So let's do this. Let's over process. Yeah, you can see this stellar stream here. You can see more. These are stars that got ripped from their either galaxy, this one or this one. These spiral arms here, this spiral arm, this galaxy going through has dragged this spiral arm in all likelihood with it. And so, particles of dust are way more massive than gas molecules and gas atoms. So the dust can be attracted quicker and easier because it's more massive. So there's more gravitational, interaction between them. So that's why we see this lead of dust first and then the gas following. And the dust, of course, is out here, along with the stars are out here. It's so far away that we're basically seeing just fuzziness where there's stars. And that's kind of interesting. We're seeing some nice detail in here with this beautiful spiral arm location. Yeah. Sean Paris, what's going on? Thanks for coming in. Nicola says, I'm curious what your field of expertise is in astrophysics. Actually, it's astronomy, and my field of expertise in astronomy happened after I got the degree in astronomy, and that was I began to focus on exoplanets. And that's pretty cool, because I was always very interested in life on other worlds because I had a missing time event when I was a child, and that missing time event made me feel like something from out there was watching me. And I was afraid to look up in the sky and actually go out under the stars at night because it scared me. But that's just, par for the course for people that have these types of events, I guess. So bottom line was I began studying life in the universe because of that event, and that happened at age 9. And it's actually age 9.5 when I decided I was going to be an astronomer, and I never looked back. I stayed locked on to that, and I became an astronomer who basically doesn't make any money. Astronomers don't make a lot of money unless they just go into universities and teach, and that wasn't for me. I did teach, but I taught I taught special in special schools where the kids were what they called gifted, because they were the only ones that could keep my attention. I had to really work hard to keep these gifted kids, on track, and I had trouble doing that. So I learned how to explain things to them that kept them interested. And I think that's what you guys respond to when I do this stuff, right? Maybe you like it, I think, and I think that part of it is because of that experience in the back. Leonard, how you doing? Leonard Thuman, how you doing? Yeah, so that's what I believe is what it is. Okay, this is gonna be the whirlpool again. Let's just save it, and we'll save it exactly as seen. And again, if you want to know where you can get all these pictures we're taking, you just go to skytourlive.org. Right there, see right there, over my head. And you scroll down to a section that says, I want cool pictures. And it shows you how to get into our database. We have a scientific database of all the data. And you can take down the regular straight pictures for free. And what you see on the screen, you can have. And we do process our imagery pretty extensively. And so that is something that you could also grab as well after we do that. And for people who are in the Patreon, they can get a hold of these very easily, all these final prints, or images, I should say. We do sell prints, and we do sell high-end, or have you get the ability to get these high-end files. And those are for the people that are in the Patreon. At certain levels, they can get a certain number of images per month for free. And, it's really not about the images, I'm sure. It's about the ability to support something that's unlike anything that anyone else is doing. I guess that's the weirdest way to put it, huh? Okay, 35. We're going to say save there, and we're done. Okay, save exactly as seen. Now, we're going to come out of here and go back to our low light mode, and we're going to do something a little different. All right, this will be probably the last image for tonight, but not to worry. I'm going to hopefully make it worth your while. So we're going to come down now and go to the Bode's Nebula, which is M81 and M82. Where are they? Are they up here? No, that's not them. Let's do that. Let's do M82. Okay, I was the wrong side. Duh. All right. So now we're going to do that. We're going to go to this galaxy here, and I think we should be good there. Yeah, we're going to take us a little out of the danger zone, and we should be coming right in here. We're going to do a flip, a meridian flip. And then be right in the position to park it for the evening after we do this. All right, there we go. All right, so let's see what a 5-second photo gets us. We're gonna get a lot of stars here. I can see them. And let's close in. Oh, we're also getting, may not be able to find it. Yeah. We're getting wind. The wind is ruining some of our shots tonight. Okay, let's try this again. Man, the wind's just kicking up, man. Look at that. Holy cow. Well, let's actually see what I can do here. Oh, that's the wrong level. Sorry, I meant to do 1 second, not. Alright, so now it's 1 second. There we go. Okay. Looks like it calmed down. So now let's do we'll do 4 seconds. Leonard says, looks like the new location is working well. Yeah, it's actually doing pretty good. You know, this is actually still the telescope in Benson that we're using. And we're good. We got in just in time. And our wide field system is going in 2 doors down here on this plateau. So it's going to be pretty cool. There it is. Wham bam. There we go. Donald King. Yeah, that's right. He's giving distances to measure 51. Sally says, Thomas Jane was in the documentary Darcy Ware did about psychics and remote viewing. I sure would love to hear you talk about such things. I know I haven't, have I? I probably should do that. You're right. Okay. I see we're getting some wind here, and we can try to guide and find a good guide star. Let's try it. We're going to stop here and see if we can get a guide star. That's interesting. We're getting the other galaxy in there too, because there's 2 that are close to each other. Let's see what it finds here. Yeah, it's not finding. Oh, that's 0.5. Let me do 1.5 seconds. We'll go another second higher. And now let's do this. And do this. Retrace our steps. And let's see if we can get a guide star. Why is it not? It just may not be good enough conditions. Alright, let's try that. Let's see if we can center up on this. Okay. Looks like it has. So now I'm going to try it. We'll just try it and we'll see what we can get. This will be a 25-second photo. And we'll go into our dark sky mode. Hey Prow, how you doing? Donald King, by the way, thank you for that data. That was very kind. Well, you know, Sally, I'm going to be on a panel with Thomas Jane, so I will have every opportunity to talk to the guy. Okay, so this is Measure 82. This is a galaxy that is really interesting. For the longest time, I felt like we were looking at a galaxy that was just a blob, a cigar. But I think it's actually a spiral, and you can see these spiral arms. But there is a section that's got stuff coming out, like it's flowing out in the wrong direction and going the wrong way. And I think that's because of the nature of what happened to it. Really, it's something else. Now, let me just drop this down to get rid of some of the noise for a minute. As we get more stacked here, we'll continue. I've got 3 stacked images, so we're actually keeping track, which is good. So we just lost our status, but it came back. Wow. Mr. Django, thank you for coming in. Have a good day for you. And we will see you next time. And as I mentioned, and I hate to do it, or hate to say it, we actually have to put our Sky Tour shop on hold for now, and it has to do with the fact that either we're hacked or something, but the connection between Etsy and our product making system has lost all of the data that says what objects are what, or what products are what. It's called a SKU, SKU. And without SKUs, we've had people ordering mugs and things that they never get them because they never get made. And it's a silent failure. And we don't know it failed until someone calls us and says, hey, where's my mug? So I'm really unhappy about that. And I'm going to make an effort to fix that as soon as I can. Alright, let's do better quality here. Okay. Alright. So, this galaxy, if you look carefully, let me zoom in a little bit so you can see this. You can almost see how this is curling around. Like this is a circular galaxy here. And this part here is the middle part. And that actually goes way up high. And then down below it goes down low. Now if we overprocess really badly, you can see there's something bursting out of the top here. And there's a little orangey brown bursting out of the bottom. And that's because this galaxy is interacting with and gravitationally interacting with the other galaxy called Messier 81, which is slightly further away, right? And this means that this galaxy's got a tortuous past. Something's going on here. This does not represent the full size of it, by the way. We're going to call that. That's the target name. Save the image with annotations into our target location. Then I'll save it with 10 images that we're about to get. Here we are. There we go. By the way, if you guys like that pre-stream music that is from our album Rising, remember that as a paid Patreon member, no matter what level, you get that album for free. There's like 10 songs on there that we wrote and composed and everything. And so if you're interested in them, let me know. And I will be happy to give you the links. I should actually just write an email to all paying Patreon members and say, here's all our music. Go enjoy. Karen Belmont says, I think Mercury has run ig Z. What? I don't know what you mean. There's a dozen. Look at this stuff bursting out of the top here. That's really fascinating. Let's pull this a little closer. You see that stuff pushing up to the top? There's the same stuff pushing down the bottom. That's incredible. All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. Get out of that. Oh, wait. I don't want to be in processing, do I? I did. Okay, good. We're good. We're good. All right. Oh, yeah, look at that. Boy, that's something. So you can see this fan of material coming out like this. See that? So something caused that to happen. There's a similar fan coming out the bottom. And you can see the galaxy kind of looks like it's rotating around. Here's an inner area of stars right here. See that bright band? There's a circular spiral arm right here. And then it gets disrupted. So there's something from the gravitational interaction with Messier 81, which has caused Messier 82 to look like this. Absolutely unfathomably crazy interaction with Messier 81 to cause this. But it's neat. Let's ride up the curve a little more. Look at that. Nice and dark here. Look at that. See that now? You can see it very clearly. That stuff coming up top. Now you see the curves of the spiral arms here very, very nicely. See, so when you start to see this, it's not a cigar anymore. It's a weird spiral, and I think that's what's gonna be what's found out later. Cornucopia's asking what the pink color is. Sorry, I should have made a mention. I did not. Yes, this pink color is a result of passing closely to Messier 81 earlier in its lifetime. And what happened when it did that was that it caused stars to move in this galaxy, move closer together, form rapidly moving star clusters. And what ended up happening was the hydrogen gas mixed in among all this was being pushed around by the gravitational interactions, self-condensed and became stars. We had a ton of what's called runaway star formation going on in this particular galaxy, and when it happened, this particular galaxy became what's known as a starburst galaxy. All that red in there, imagine the Orion Nebula, but all over your whole sky. That's what this is. This is all that. And if you look here, we go a little further in. You see now how detailed that's getting? And that's with 22 images. We're getting a little oblateness too, so I'm gonna save it here. We're doing good comparatively for the wind. That's not bad. That's probably about the best we're gonna get though. So you'll also notice that this is like blue. This is like hot young stars here, and this is stellar nurseries that are basically within them is very hot young stars that have been born to this very strange goings on here in this galaxy. Leonard has turned into a pumpkin, and he's leaving us tonight. Good night, Leonard. I'm not far behind. This will be our last object, so you got to stay with us for the entire time. Very nice. Boy, I can't wait to put the wide field system in. Oh. Ay, ay, ay. It's going to be beautiful, because then we show this galaxy and M81 in the same view practically. Oh, it's just gorgeous. And we'll do both, and we'll have them both open at the same night, so we'll be able to go back and forth between the wide field and this one, and they'll be right next to each other, which is very cool. Okay, well, this is 26, and that's good. We'll save it. Maybe I'll try and do some work on that to pull out more detail in here. Amazing. are amazing. Yeah, look at it. There you go. See that lower material now coming out down here. Let's see if we can soften up the noise a little bit. Nah. All right. Oh yeah, look, you see all this detail in there. This is just a beautiful object. Can't believe it. Okay, so we're gonna save again. Again, all the photos we take, skytourlive.org. Scroll down and select the I want cool pictures selection and read the instructions. I'm giving you direct access to our research and scientific database out there. So you'll be able to get at the stuff that we get at. It's read-only, of course, so you can't do any damage. Not that you would want to, of course. But you can do that. Jerry Klein says, I made it to the live stream. Very cool. Pink, red, and blue galaxy. Oh, welcome, Jerry. Thank you for getting here, man. I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, this is a starburst galaxy, so you're seeing some young hot stars in here. You're also seeing stellar nurseries in this galaxy that are the size of the entire center of the galaxy. So that is massive. You can imagine if the Orion Nebula stretched for our whole core of our galaxy, your entire night sky would be a gigantic pink envelope of stars forming in these clusters. If you're out here near the dark stuff, you might stand a chance of survival, but if you're in this blue hot stars, the radiation here would be sterilizing. Alright, 32. Done for the night. Save exactly a scene. Alright, guys. Well, that was wonderful. Very nice to have you join us tonight. I'm very happy that you were able to make it. And thank you for doing so. Remember, our Etsy store is down until we can get that fixed. And so what I'll do now is I will show you the closing process, because why not? Alright, so first things first. Let's do this. Let's make this a little bigger. Okay, it's not wanting to go. Alright. Yes, I can do this. Alright, so first things first, we're going to do this. We're going to bring this guy up. This is our program. Alright, there we are. Alright. Alright, we're going to use the speed option now, because we don't care about it being perfect. Okay, so now what we're going to do is bring this up, and we're going to say we're going to park the telescope for the night. We're going to put it to bed, and you'll watch the telescope move into position. It's almost in its position now. By the way, that's the door to get into the building right there. Okay. So the telescope's going into its park position, which brings it down below the level of the roof. And you can see it now, it's down there. And that when it's down below the level, then what we can do is disconnect it. And now it's disconnected. And we can now shut off power to the building. And I'm doing that now. Alright, power has been turned off. And now what we do is we can close the building. And here is where the roof comes toward us. There it is. There it goes. Alright. It looks close, you know, but when I was there, I measured it, and it's like 5 inches, so we're good. Well, there we go, guys. And that's it. So I want to thank you for joining us tonight, and I'm hopeful that we'll see you again. Thanks for spending our Friday night stream with us. I'm going to try and figure out why that first program was running slowly. I couldn't stand that. That was terrible. Hey, Curtis, we already finished. We just finished the last object, Mesh 82. My voice held out a couple of times. I had to mute and go on the cough button to actually cough a bit, but we're good. And Cornucopia, you're welcome. Nice to see you. And so, folks, you have a good night, and we will do this again. Now, remember, Friday night is a permanent stream every Friday night, and the time we start will vary. Look in our Facebook's alerts so you know when and what time we're going to be going. As we go into the summer, the sun sets later and later and later out there. So by the time we're deep in the summer, we're not going to start till midnight Eastern time. I know that's going to lose some of you, but it's going to gain a whole other bunch of people too. So either way, but that's a permanent stream every Friday night. We're going to have some type of interesting software or astronomy lesson, and then we'll go into the observatory if it's clear. All right, and do some observing like tonight. Okay, so you guys have a good night, and we will talk very soon. And I guess that's all I got to say. I could go on and on, but I just don't. I'm not gonna. It's over. You know, my voice has to rest. So you guys have a good night. We'll see you later.
Stars so bright in the sky, on Arizona nights they fly. Nebulae in colors rare, galaxies beyond compare. Sky tour in the night so clear, brings the universe near. Real-time wonders to see, streaming light for you and me. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand new. In the dark, the night unfolds, stories of the cosmos told. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Far away, up so high, across the stars beyond the skull. Through the lens, a distant dream, living real like a gleam. Lift your eye up so high, across the stars beyond the sky. Sky tour shows us the way, every night a new display. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every night feels brand new. Lift your eyes to the skies, universe in all its light. Sky tours bringing the views. Every